Hello everyone, this is User1. Last week I did a live stream of my birthday and this happened. I was extremely disappointed, but I was then banned just an hour later, obviously after I made an appeal. Now I'd like to talk more in depth about this particular situation and try to realize what led up to it and how to prevent it. Because this isn't the first, second, third or fifth or even the 10th time something similar has happened to me. And not only with LSRP, but many other communities I play with, especially hardcore roleplay communities. And I certainly can't fault LSRP for this. In fact, I was very impressed with how quickly the situation was resolved. However, that's where my amazement stopped, as it was followed by only more confusion, unclear responses, and no real resolution to conflict other than don't let it happen again. Dear administration team, whomever it may concern, it is never my intention to let things like this occur. And trust me, at this point I'd give up my left pinky finger to make issues like this not happen anymore. However, it's not helping when the communication that occurs between us is this bureaucratic nonsense. A political speech more focused on acting defensive on your own actions, never accepting any faults of your own, and never really telling me explicitly what I did wrong. Now before I move on, I'd like to say that this isn't an exclusive LSRP issue, like I've mentioned. That being said, I'm making this video not because I want to hate on the administration by any means. It's because I'd like to come to a conclusion, to resolve and prevent this issue from occurring in the future. Because I believe that lack of communication leads to unreasonable and unnecessary punishment. Most importantly, do not witch hunt the administrator who banned me. I'm not only saying this to avoid being accused of encouraging such a thing, but also because I don't believe that's the best way to go about fixing an imperfect system. Instead, suggest your own solutions. First of all, let's begin by examining what happened. I was doing a live stream to celebrate my birthday, and coincidentally, my character was also celebrating their birthday too. That's just the thing I do because it's easier to remember their birthday that way, and it makes sense to celebrate it in character with your friends as well as in real life. At some point, the police showed up, possibly because someone swatted me on my out-of-character stream in character, metagaming, but because I had no way of knowing where the call came from, I wasn't able to report them. Then, at some point, someone started advertising the birthday party itself, which was a private event with only close friends invited with only 2 exceptions. At that point, 40 people were reported to be outside of the apartment, and later, some were reported to be armed. That's when we called police. There was a trespasser who was refusing to leave the premises and started attacking house guests and my character's friends, which led to my character, against better judgment, in a drunken state, to retrieve a gun from a gun safe to assist in an escort of said individual. That's where the climax happened. Someone roleplayed busting through the door with a shotgun. Now, if you don't know anything about a roleplay server, the idea is to give players an ability to do any realistic action possible in real life. Now to my knowledge, aside from administrators, no one has the script-wise ability to unlock other people's property. However, because this is a roleplay server, and because a shotgun is a reasonable way to bust someone's non-reinforced door down, as it's even used by SWAT teams, I've complied with the roleplay and unlocked the door to simulate the fact that it was busted through. Now if you've ever been around firearms when they're fired, like say if you ever went to a shooting range or gun hunting, then you'll know that they are loud. In fact, this cannot be understated. If you fire an unsuppressed weapon without ear protection, you will more likely than not receive permanent hearing injury. A shotgun is a very loud weapon. Not only would my character be able to hear it be utilized, anyone in East Los Santos would be able to hear it too. So get in the position of my character. It's a situation where her life and lives of her friends are threatened. Why? On an in-character level, we have no clue. Could be a robbery, could be a kidnapping, could be someone from my character's past. On an out-of-character level, I have a pretty good guess that those are just trolls who don't have any intention to roleplay. But I am not an administrator to stall, pause or void roleplay that other people are performing. I have no such authority, so I stick to trying to roleplay as realistically as possible. So the door breaks open, my character hears the shot, the gun still in her hand, She runs to cover and aims at the door. People start barging in. Now ask yourself, you're at a party filled with people you know and care about. Had a couple of shady stuff happen earlier, like a fake advert being posted about your party, then suddenly someone busts your door down with a shotgun and strangers are rushing in. Half a dozen. There's no way to contain them or keep track of them. There's no way to tell if they're armed or not. You have a gun in your hand. What do? So I shot them all. Okay, everybody dead! Everybody dead, motherfuckers! Everybody f***ing dead! Everybody f***ing dead! Everybody f***ing dead! You run into my house, you f***ing dead! As you can see, at some point, one of the intruders actually brandished a shotgun and engaged my character, her bodyguard, and her friends in a gunfight, only to be outgunned. The police arrives. My character, being a mostly law-abiding citizen, unlike majority of Los Santos at this point, has no intentions of killing law enforcement officers and knows that while they can be corrupt, they generally have good intentions, so she surrenders to them. Then, they leave without even detaining Michelle. I assume that someone told them the situation was voided. And then I was immediately banned, without having an admin talk to me, without having any ability to explain my position on my birthday livestream. Really? Are you serious? I was frustrated, but not too surprised. This is unfortunately common. I act my character to the best of my ability, but it looks bad, so an admin makes a judgment call on the spot without any investigation. Then admins are reluctant to ever admit that they could conceivably make a mistake. This doesn't only happen to me, it happens to other people. So I made an appeal, explained exactly what happened. The admin explained, although the door may have been shot open, that does not give you the right to shoot anyone and everyone coming in who was unarmed. Which I felt was unreasonable considering administration always justifies killing of other players when they broke into your empty unoccupied vehicle. So why wouldn't it be reasonable to be able to kill those who bust into your house, which is filled with your friends? This brings out one of the first issues with the rules, particularly the deathmatching rule. They are completely up to admin's discretion. The rule states, killing another person without a sufficient roleplay reason, aka deathmatching, is not allowed. There is no set rule on who you can kill and who you cannot kill. Pretty much, if the admin thinks that you don't have a sufficient roleplay reason, you get punished for DM. This isn't an issue only linked to LSRP, but this seems to be the most convoluted and controversial rule across majority of roleplay servers. It is the one, perhaps almost the most important rule that turns a normal free-for-all online game into a hardcore roleplay server. I won't be delving into this right now, and I don't have a specific solution for how to resolve this issue anyway, so I won't put too much blame on the admin for that. It's his opinion that if people are breaking into your house are unarmed, you're not allowed to kill them. Fair. After a bit of a debate with an admin, he finally saw my side and decided to unban me, stating, "Your actions, given the circumstances, can be justified," in parentheses after a review. However, the mass deathmatching tag plagued my ever-increasing admin record. So I, hoping to apply for a government faction at some point in the future, asked him politely to make a note that the decision has been appealed. He, however, clarified to me that it actually has not been appealed, and in fact he merely changed the punishment from a ban to a stern warning. This is perhaps the root of the problem, because what I'm after is trying to figure out what should I have done instead to prevent from receiving any form of punishment. Not a ban for mass DM, not a warning for mass DM. I'm hoping at this point to find a way to guarantee that if I can abide by some rules that are not vague, not up to admin's personal discretion, I won't receive a punishment. I've asked him to give me an alternative on how I perhaps should have acted in this particular situation. He suggested that I would ignore it. Now, with all due respect, like I've mentioned before, this is a roleplay server. I know I'm getting complaints from people saying that I take it too seriously, but the moment I stop doing so, I have dozens of people who aren't related to the situation reporting me against player report guidelines. And the admins taking those reports seriously and issuing me horrendous punishments, upwards of banning me. So no, ignoring roleplay, however trollish it may seem, is not an option that's available to me. Voiding, pausing, and stalling roleplay isn't my privilege either, as I'm not an administrator. Quitting from the game during a roleplay scenario is punishable as well, so I had no options to ignore this situation. I wanted to avoid making a big deal out of the situation and avoid making a video like this, so I brought this up to staff management team to see if they could help me find a concrete alternative that would avoid the guessing game of will I get banned this time? However, all I got was a reaffirmation that I in fact did do something wrong, but no solution to what I should have done instead. The issue that was mentioned was that I was getting quote unquote carried away. But never more specific than that. In fact, the management interpreted the keeping of the mass DM charge as voided? Going as far as to say that the mass DM banned by said administrator on March 23rd is voided and can be ignored? Clarifying that the mass DM entry on your admin record can be ignored by anybody who reviews your admin record. This leaves me even more confused than before. One admin says I got a warning for mass DM that I committed. The other one says the charge is voided completely. So did I or did I not do anything wrong? Quote, what I'm trying to get at is you weren't wrong, nor were you right to shoot them. What? Anyway, if admins aren't going to let me know how I should have acted instead, or if I even did act wrong, please leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my vlogging channel for the video there about how I celebrated my birthday, and stay awesome.